Hi bold bakers, I would love to introduce you to Ami. She helps me here with all of our recipes for bigger, bolder baking. Recently she shared a recipe for samosas on the website and they were really popular, so we're going to make them today.
Hi everyone, I'm really excited to share this recipe with you. I grew up eating samosas and I really love them. Okay, so let's get started.
Okay.
We're going to start with some flour in our bowl, then a quarter teaspoon of salt. Next to the flour, we're going to add ajwain, which is also known as carom seed. It's something that you'll find in an Indian grocery store. It's not something that is necessary if you can't find it, but it definitely gives the samosa dough its very distinctive flavor.
Can I have a little smell?
Yes.
Oh, it smells like samosas.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
So how much of this bad boy?
We need 1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon.
Okay, so now we just want to stir in all our dry ingredients so they're evenly mixed.
Okay.
After that, we're going to add in oil, just plain vegetable oil. Should I put that in?
Yep.
Okay.
If you don't have vegetable oil, what can you use? Like a canola oil?
Yeah,
sunflower oil?
Canola oil, sunflower oil, anything, just any neutral flavored oil. You want a little fat to mix in to the dough. All right, so you can start a little bit with a spoon, but eventually you'll probably need to use your fingers to really get the oil mixed really evenly in with the flour.
Perfect. I'm a big advocate for getting your hands stuck in there, especially when it comes to doughs. It's really important, isn't it?
Yeah, and
just
it feels
to feel
good.
Yeah, just to feel what's going on. You know how much liquid is in there.
Absolutely.
So, Ami, tell me, what is a samosa? What's the definition of a samosa?
Well, according to me, it would be sort of a savory filling. In my family, traditionally, we would eat peas and potatoes or anything vegetarian encased in this dough that we're making right now, and then it would get deep fried. But I do know that in different other parts of India, people have meat fillings, ground lamb in particular.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Did you know that in Ireland we eat a lot of Indian food?
Really?
A lot of Indian food. We love it.
Is there a big Indian population?
There's not. I think it comes from the British influence. We would have like my parents would cook a lot of Indian food. We have a lot of Indian takeaways. Things like samosas. Is a bhaji a traditional Indian thing?
It's like a mix of vegetables.
Yeah. I love an onion bhaji. Curries, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
How are we looking? Does this look good? Nice and
This
crumbly?
looks great. This looks great. So next we're going to add water.
Okay. Do I use my hands for this as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, they're already dirty, right? It's like 6 or 7 tablespoons. So I'll usually start with 5 or 6 and then mix it in and then see how much more I need.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and pour it in for you.
Yes, please.
Okay.
We know that around here, Ami, because every time we make a dough or a bread or anything like that, we never add in all the water.
Yeah.
That's a rule that we all know. Perfect.
We'll probably want a little bit more, but we'll start with that.
Okay. Going in with my hands.
What you want to create is a sort of a stiff dough. When you squeeze it together in your hands, you don't really want it to break apart. You want the dough to be stiff enough to be able to hold all of our filling without breaking apart in the oil.
Okay.
But you still want it pliable enough to be able to roll it.
Yeah. I might need a splash more water.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't realize it was so easy to make samosas. It's nice that you can do this dough by hand, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It's very simple.
Yeah. So your mom and dad are Indian.
Yes.
From India.
Yes, they are.
So did you obviously then grow up with a lot of traditional food, Indian food?
I did. I mean, certainly, kids growing up in America, we loved pizza and, pasta, and my dad would every now and then grill and all that. But mostly my mom cooked, and she cooked vegetarian, Gujarati Indian food. My mom had this amazing ability to make this, 5-course Indian meal in half an hour, and I don't know how she ever did that.
Mine does the same thing. Not Indian food, Irish food.
Yeah.
I mean, how am I doing? My dough.
I think that's looking good.
Do I need to knead it on the counter at all?
You can, or you don't even. Sometimes I just leave it in the bowl.
Okay.
And I'll just once it's nice and smooth, as you can see, it's nice and smooth. And then when I talk about a stiff dough, like if you're like holding it and you're squeezing it, and it doesn't really break. You don't really see your fingers through it. If you squeeze it, it doesn't break through. It holds its shape, and but it's still sort of pliable.
Yeah.
Is the kind of texture that you want.
Great.
Okay, so now that our dough is nicely kneaded together, we want to let it rest for about half an hour. So we'll just cover it up and to keep it from drying out.
I have a shower cap here. In the fridge or on the countertop?
Just on the countertop.
Okay. So we're going to set that over there. I think this is good timing. Can we get started on our filling while this is resting?
Sounds perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so filling, I stuck on a few potatoes. I like to steam them until they're nice and tender. I used floury potatoes, and we have them here nice and warm in a bowl.
Okay, so they're roughly mashed, and then to that we're going to add a tablespoon of garam masala, and then we'll add amchur, which is a dried mango powder. It adds a nice tang to the potatoes. We'll also add ground coriander, salt, and some fresh squeezed lemon juice.
So this is what I know as a traditional samosa, Ami, a potato and peas and spices and things like that. Zach mentioned that he had them in Ohio with chicken. What is the traditional way? Like what way would you normally see it?
Well, for me and my family, this would be traditional. But I do know that I've gone to plenty of Indian restaurants where they have lots of different fillings, ground lamb, other kinds of meats.
Oh, I would like that.
So, but my family's vegetarian, so this was our traditional filling. It was just peas and potatoes.
Well, I can see, in Ireland why this would be so popular, because it is a fried dough filled with mashed potatoes. So, I mean, yeah, we're all about that. So do I mix this up or anything?
Yeah, you can mix it up. You want the potatoes to have a little bit of a structure, so not totally mashed. They can be finely chopped. They can be kind of roughly mashed. Either way is fine.
Okie dokie.
All right, Gemma, while you're mashing up the potatoes, I have a pan heated here with some oil, and to that we're gonna add in some cumin seeds, our chopped ginger, and chopped chili. I'm gonna stir that around for about 30 seconds. It's gonna get nice and fragrant. After that, I'm gonna turn off the oil, and we can pour this mixture right into the potatoes.
I'm just gonna add the peas in there.
And then we're gonna stir everything together.
Oh, smells good.
Yeah. Now, you might wanna give it a taste. See if you want to add in a little more salt, a little more lemon juice, more garam masala. What do you think?
You don't need to tell me twice. Oh, yummy.
It's good?
Oh, so yummy.
All right, so it looks like we've got our filling all set. So we'll put that aside to cool down for a bit, and we'll start rolling our dough. Okay, so we're ready to divide up our dough and roll it up. So this is all, very sort of by hand and by feel. To divide this dough, we're gonna divide it up into about 6 equal pieces, so I'll give you half.
Okay.
And so we've got about half the dough, and then we're just gonna take fistfuls and roll them up like this.
Okay.
Okay.
How many am I supposed to get?
You'll get 3.
6? Oh, 3.
So you're gonna divide the dough into 6 equal pieces, and you know it by hand. So you can kind of take bits of dough and kind of keep squeezing them all together, and if once they feel more or less even, it doesn't have to be exact.
This is very technical of me.
Hey, it's how I did it.
Whatever works. I know, no judgment here.
So if you want smaller samosas, you can make them into smaller pieces, but sometimes I find them a little bit bigger is a little easier to handle, so we'll do 6 equal pieces. You could do 7 or 8. Okay, so we're gonna take 1 ball of dough, and then we can just work with one at a time.
Okay.
And then, do you want to roll it out? Do you want me to roll it out?
Do you roll it with a rolling pin?
Yeah, so we'll roll with a rolling pin. So we're gonna kind of flatten it out. You want to roll it into a circle.
Okay.
So we'll do this, and you want the circle to be about an eighth of an inch thick, and this dough is gonna stretch a little bit and pull back on you. So just work with it. It'll eventually get to the thickness you want.
So, Ami, let me just see because I love measurements and precision. How big would you say you're rolling this to?
It's about a 6-inch
6 by
circle.
6, kind of 6 inches by 6 inches. Okay, cool.
Okay, so we're ready to fill.
Great.
We're all rolled out. We have a circle, one of the circles, and we're gonna just take, you can take a knife. I like to use this round cutter.
That's a good idea, pizza cutter.
Just give it a nice even cut. Now along the seam side here, we're gonna take a little bit of water with our finger.
Will I do one the same time you're doing one?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll just kind of moisten the edge.
Yeah.
Like that. And then we're gonna fold it over into a cone.
Okay.
Like that. And then squeeze it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so now you're gonna fill about a teaspoon or 2 of filling.
So you're going to have to monitor me because I am a devil for like stuffing and filling.
Right, well,
too much.
The samosa won't let you because if you overfill it, it just won't shut.
I'll still get it in there. Trust me.
Well, I'll tell you what, as much as you can fill in, the better. That looks great. So once you got that in, you got it kind of packed in.
Yeah.
You take a little bit more water.
Okay.
And you moisten the edge.
Yep.
Like this. And then just squeeze it together.
Okay. You didn't stop me, but I put in more filling.
Well, yours are going to taste amazing.
I told you to stop it.
Well, there you go.
But this is how you get that traditional shape. That's so like that kind of triangle.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, lovely. So while we're filling these, Ami, I mentioned there briefly, you're my right-hand woman when it comes to our recipes and so much that we do on Bigger Bolder Baking. You help me test, write recipes. We do big bulk shoots here where we've done, I don't know, we've done almost like probably 130 recipes.
So much fun. It's amazing.
So it's a lot of fun, and we just spend a few days like just making recipes, developing photography with Carla, and it's really great.
Yes.
So a lot of the stuff you've been seeing recently actually is thanks to Ami. So if you've got any crazy ideas for recipes, let us know because Ami will make them for you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I love working with Bigger Bolder Baking. It is so much fun. It's really like, it's the best time.
Ami, I think that's it. We have them all done.
Yep.
We had a nice little chat. Look at that. I have to say, I think my
Beautiful.
last one. Isn't that
Look
nice?
at that. Practice makes perfect.
On that note, we're going to go fry. We're going to fry these off.
Yes.
So I have a pot or pan. Let's get some oil heated up and get these bad boys cooked up.
Okay, let's go. So we've got our pot of oil heating up, and the surface is going to start shimmering a little bit, so you know the oil is nice and hot. And a nice way to test the oil is if you put a little pinch of dough right in the oil, you're going to notice that it starts to sizzle and float right up to the top. And at that point, you know your oil is hot enough and you're ready to start frying. Place your samosas very carefully into the oil so that the oil doesn't splash back into your hand. You want to have only 2 or 3 samosas at a time so that your oil temperature doesn't go down. I usually go by color more than time. So when it's nice and golden, you're going to give it a flip and fry up the other sides. When they're nice and golden on both sides, you want to lift them carefully out of the oil, tap out the excess oil, and then place them on a baking sheet lined with paper towels to drain.
Ami, these look absolutely gorgeous. I like how you brought a little bit of your culture to Bigger Bolder Baking. Now I'm going to bring a little bit of mine and serve these with Sharwood's mango chutney, which is very traditional in Ireland. But it's lovely and sweet, and it just is a really lovely accompaniment.
Fantastic.
I'm going to dip that in there.
I can't wait to try.
Oh my gosh.
No, I love this chutney.
I told you, see?
Oh, yeah, it's so good. Yum.
Samosas are spicy. They're soft, the texture. This dough is really gorgeous on me.
Yeah, so good.
Absolutely fantastic. The recipe is on my website. Thank you so much, Ami. Hope you're going to come back and cook some more breads and more Indian dishes with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you again really soon. Should I have some more chutney there, Ami?
Yeah.